Mental Health Awareness Week continues. For more on the importance and breaking down the stigmas, we're joined in studio live by Tanya Da Silva, child and youth therapist and family therapist. Thanks for joining us again.
Thanks for having me.
So let's start with kids, right? Kids are built to experiment, to fail, to fall, to learn and get back up. But you don't want to legislate, you don't want to medicate them, their development. But it's a very different world than it certainly was for me back in my generation with the advent of social media. We're more connected than ever, but we're also more isolated. So how do you reconcile that in your job?
I think for us, what we're noticing a lot of, especially with kids, is there is now this added pressure to perform, like whether it's academically or just achievement-wise. Like there's such a pressure and expectations being put on that, and kids are really struggling with that, and it's causing stress and it's causing anxiety for them. Add in the whole social media aspect as well. They are spending so much, just less time face to face with people and dealing with conflict. So we are seeing that a lot. I find parents as well. Now we're in a society where parents are coddling more, but also protecting their kids a lot more. Right. So it's kind of what you touched on. And that's creating issues where kids are feeling more stress and more pressure than they ever had, but they're also not being given the opportunity to fail, to mess up, to deal with conflict. Parents are kind of coming in and saving them. So they're not given those opportunities and they're not given those coping skills or strategies. So now they're kind of at a loss where there's more stress and there's less coping ability.
Now we know things like bullying have been around forever, right? Bullies have always been around. But why are the mental health issues rates for kids climbing so much, and where do they compare with those of teens and adults, let's say?
Well, I think in general, it's like 1 in 5 Canadians face mental illness. 1 in 2 by the age of 40 either have or have had a mental illness. And everybody today either has struggled with stress or anxiety or knows someone that has anxiety or depression. So they are climbing. I think going back to bullying is changing as well because of the internet, right? So there's cyberbullying now, which is a whole other thing. And I think what that is, before there used to be a relief. So you were bullied in the schoolyard, you got home, you're safe, you're fine.
Or you can have a fight in the playground and it's done.
Yeah, the eyes are not they're not on you anymore, right? Now, if someone records it, it's being restreamed, it's being retweeted, or you can be at home where you're supposed to be safe, but you're getting constant messages from people continuously saying things to you, right? So it's a lot harder now for kids to escape that bullying and that stuff that used to be done when you got home.
What are some of the, first signs, the red flags that parents and caregivers, adults should be looking out for when it comes to kids, and how have diagnosis and treatments improved and or evolved?
So I think the red flags are always, if we're seeing changes in their mood or their behaviors, that's always a big one. So more anxiety, more anger, more sadness, withdrawal, avoidance, that's always a big one. Changes in how they're managing or coping with emotional stress, changes in their friendship circles or dynamics, if they don't have that support, if they're no longer going out. Those are signs. Sleeping, eating habits, all of those are standard. In terms of how things have changed now with the diagnosis and treatment options, there is more treatment options. Like we have kids that are in our clinic that are 4 years old that are coming in to work on anxiety. Yeah. So I think there are now more services and there is more opportunity to get a psychological assessment or a psych ed assessment. And that wasn't really something that was offered as much before.
Just the fact that we have Mental Health Awareness Week, to talk about these kind of things.
Yeah.
And I think it's important also just to resist the temptation to patronize kids and talk down to them.
Absolutely.
Look, just from my experience, any self-respecting kid can see right through this stuff.
Exactly.
Talk to them like a person.
Exactly. And talk about your own struggles and your own emotions.
Share.
Yeah.
Tanya, a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thanks
Appreciate
for
your
having
time.
me.